Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Let's have some fun, shall we? What's up, everybody? What's going on? Happy Friday to all of you out there in the state of Oklahoma and beyond listening to us. This is Locked In on the Ref Sports Radio Network. We are the home of Sooner fans. Grayson Singleton here on Locked In. Parker Thune is still vacationing for the rest of the week. He'll be back on Monday. And joining me today is a man who now is at Kimry Family Memorial Stadium. I think I said that right. He's going to be on the call tonight for Oklahoma and Texas A&M baseball edition. What's going on, Josh Helmer? How we feeling?
Good afternoon. Kimry Family Stadium.
Kimry Family Stadium, not Memorial. That's on me.
Don't need that Memorial in there. But,
I'm so used
what's
to
up,
saying,
man? Good afternoon.
I'm so used to saying Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium that it kind of bled into this one. So my apologies on that one. Shout out to Kimry Family Stadium. Hey, man, it's almost the weekend. I know you've got a little bit of work on the weekend, but for once, I got to say, man, Friday's going to be the end of it for me. We're going to get to Saturday, we're going to get to Sunday, and I don't have anything to do, and I am loving this, brother.
Just a lot of baseball, softball viewing for you, basketball, of course. Should be, I would imagine, a great Saturday and Sunday for you.
Hey, man, well, we've got a lot to talk about to wrap up this week here on Locked In. Coming up in 20 minutes, the NCAA is proof of why bullying works. I'll tell you about that leading into our second segment. Our show today is brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family-friendly service, and that low-pressure sales environment. Here to help you before, during, and after the buying process. So tap in with our friends at Dorsey Jones GMC out there in El Reno and head out there tomorrow because if you need your oil changes, they've got half-price oil changes on Saturday. So make sure, again, you tap in with our friends at Dorsey Jones GMC. Are they taking BP out there right now, Josh?
No, they're just getting some, the cage set up, and folks are starting to mingle a little bit. Some of the support staffers, and I think one of the players is out here. Coach Russ Raley's walking around a little bit, so we're just starting to mingle around a little bit at Kimry Family Stadium. About a half hour, Grayson will go by, and then you'll start seeing one or two more faces pop out. So we got a ways yet before first pitch.
Yeah, I can't go to the game tonight because I'm going to hang out with my girlfriend before she goes to Mexico for spring break. But there is a chance that I might pop out there tomorrow for Game 2 of the series. So maybe I'll think about snagging me a ticket and getting out there to watch Sooner baseball. But before we get to that, and I do want to get to Sooner baseball in this hour, Sooner basketball gets the big win over Texas A&M last night, and you and Dari earlier today, Josh, broke down the game and broke down the tournament implications. Steely and I did so back in the 12 o'clock hour. Here's the question I want to pose to you and the Ref Army. What do you do with Porter Moser now? Because, even if you lose the game tonight against Arkansas and you may be the first team out of the tournament, you're not going to be able to ignore the fact that this team stayed together, the locker room stayed connected, and you battled back all the way to being in this position when you thought you had already dug your grave and buried yourself in the coffin and it was being lowered down into the hole. And now all of a sudden we're here. You see Porter doing interviews on television, and he's got Dari and the SEC Network crew really feeling this Oklahoma program. Josh, in your estimation, what do you do with Porter now? Because I got to say, that administration is going to have one heck of a decision to make whenever this season comes to an end.
Well, you hope you win tonight, and then that can simplify probably some of the decision-making. I think either decision, if you lose tonight and you don't make the NCAA tournament, would now make sense. Midway through the season, when you were in the midst of the 9-game losing streak, it's kind of felt like there was only one decision, one path that could be taken, and that's not the case anymore for Oklahoma. And I would have to think, Grayson, that Xavier Brown, Darion Reed, Dayton Forsythe, some of these younger players, Kai Rogers, that how much does Porter staying impact them being back at Oklahoma next year? And how much does that factor into some of the decision-making too? Not just that, hey, they stayed together and they've won 8 out of 10, 6 in a row, and they've played themselves right onto the bubble, but do you keep Porter Moser around for a form of continuity?
Yeah, and also, if you do fire Porter Moser, here's what you have to have in mind. You're going to have a couple of candidates in mind that will undoubtedly inspire donor activity. And Dari, a couple of months ago, brought up the example of Eric Morris being hired as OSU's new football coach. And Dari said to me, it was a show he and I were doing with each other, he posed a question to me. Do you think they hire him without running it by the people with the money first? And the answer is no. So the conversations are going to have to be ongoing with the people with the money. But I got to say, just from a basketball standpoint, I know he struggled to retain players. I know his handling of Otega Owe was a little funny. Obviously, there was money that was involved there because Otega got paid at Kentucky. But I look at the way that he's kept these guys together and the way, Josh, that they respond to him. Because you can tell a lot about players, especially now, because they're grown men now. They're, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Like, they are grown and they are aware that they are their own brands and their own businesses. And you can tell a lot about how guys respond to a coach if they would stay with them. And I got to say, man, the way this team responds to Porter, they view him as their coach. That is our guy that we're going to go ride into battle with, and we're going to trust him to get us where we're going. There was a lot of moving parts at the beginning of the year, a lot of dudes who had not played with each other. Dayton Forsythe missed time with the ankle injury and whatnot. But those dudes ride for Porter. And I got to say, man, especially that we're here at the University of Oklahoma and we value community and we value this family atmosphere and whatnot, I think it would send a bad reverberation around things if you parted ways with him, given that they've gotten to this point now, Josh.
I don't disagree. I think, again, he's made it a serious conversation to stay, even if they don't get into the NCAA tournament, which that's its own curious little conversation too. Is there any chance that Grayson last night was enough?
In terms of getting to the NCAA tournament right now? No. To me, no. And the reason being is, and I was looking up a lot of this stuff because this was the topic of my podcast with SMU, because SMU is right there on the bubble, on the back end of the bubble. And Oklahoma right now has a worse net ranking than both SMU and Texas. They're really close, but of the three, Oklahoma is the worst. Oklahoma is also the worst of the three, SMU, Texas, and the Sooners, who are fighting for the final 2 spots, I think. Oklahoma is the worst of the three in terms of the wins above bubble as well. You also have to take into account that Texas has a better offense, a better defense over the course of the season, as does SMU. SMU has a better offense. SMU's top 20 in the country in offense. So there's a lot of metrics that would go against saying Oklahoma has done enough. That's why I've always thought that they have to win 3 games. 2 will make it a little bit of a sweat, but I think 3, because think about it this way, Josh. If they get the win tonight over Arkansas, they probably jump Texas in the net. They probably jump SMU in the wins above bubble, and you now have gotten to that 20-win threshold. And I know that's interesting because Texas only has 18 wins. But if you get to that 20-win threshold and you jump Texas in the net and you potentially jump SMU in the WAB rankings, that's what I think solidifies it. That's why it's always been my premise that you got to get to 3 wins in the SEC tournament to qualify for the NCAA. That's why it's always been my thought.
Yeah, it's the reverse of the not rounding up the dollar factor. It's $19.99. It's $20. It's like it just mentally, I think you look at all those different little metrics on a sheet of paper, and for the committee, seeing that even 20 would be impactful. It just looks better than a number in the teens.
Yeah, it does. It does. And that's the thing with SMU too, is that they've gotten to 20 wins. And the ACC is this isn't the football argument where, well, we have to value the SEC more than the ACC. No, that's not how that works in basketball. But to me, you get to 20 wins, that says enough. You're going to have a fifth quad 1 win as well. That is going to be critical in the resume building department too. So, and then also the fact that Porter said this on SEC Network, I think is an astute point. When you look at the trends and you look at the way these two teams are playing basketball, really three, Oklahoma's playing the better basketball of those three, SMU, Texas, and Oklahoma, because Oklahoma would have won 7 in a row if they are to get the win over Arkansas today. SMU did not end the season well, neither did Texas. So college sports is a trendy thing when it comes to subjective rankings and then going through a selection committee to decide who gets to play for a national championship. So trends are always going to matter, and Oklahoma playing their best basketball at the right time is going to be a huge feather in their cap when they go to make their closing argument to the committees.
No doubt, and win tonight, and that's suddenly 9 out of the past 11 that Oklahoma has won, and a couple of quad 1 victories in there. So net rankings for Oklahoma, they're 47th.
Yes.
And if where is Arkansas? Were they 17th? They were way up there.
They're way up there, yes.
Let's see here. I'll try and find this out here in real time. But where do you think Oklahoma winds up in the net rankings if they beat Arkansas tonight?
42. Let's call it
Arkansas
42.
17th.
Yeah, I think they go into the high 40s. I don't think they get into the 30s, but I think they go into the high 40s, which should be good enough. Now, obviously, Miami of Ohio losing yesterday throws a monkey wrench into literally everything that we forecasted because you've got a bid stealer. By the way, did St. Louis lose today? I know they were trailing to George Washington, I believe, when I was watching that earlier today. If they lost, that's a whole other thing that we have to consider,
St.
too.
Louis won.
Oh, they came back and won.
Yep, 88-81.
Okay, so that makes that a lot easier for all the teams that are on the bubble because that eliminates, at least for now, a bid stealer. But let's see what the people think on the First Liberty Bank text line. Bank like a champion today with First Liberty Bank, 405-651-3439. Probably should have given that number a little bit earlier on in the show. A lot of opinions on my girlfriend going to Mexico for spring break also.
Yes, folks are concerned, Grayson. I can't confirm that.
I'm not going to lie. Look, I've known my girlfriend long enough. It'll be okay. But I'm not gonna act as if there's not gonna be some halfway sleepless nights between now and Wednesday night while she's doing whatever over there. But she's earned the right to be able to do that. But I ain't gonna lie, I ain't the most comfortable with it. Anyway, Brad from Mustang. This is what happens when you date people that are still in college. Brad from Mustang says you should already be in over Texas. Period. Even head-to-head, OU is playing way better basketball over the last 6 games, and 19 is better than 18. Oh, and Texas sucks. Okay, here's the thing, and I think a lot of that is true, especially with the trends part of that. Oklahoma is going to have the advantage over Texas in the fact that they are playing so much better basketball right now than the Longhorns. Obviously, you split the season series between the two. But
and you won the most recent matchup, which
exactly.
I don't know if that factors in for the committee. But speaking of playing well lately, you do have that as well.
But also this too, Josh, and I always reason like this when it comes to the bubble. You don't want to end up in the hands of the committee. You don't want to end up in the hands of the committee. So how about this? Take care of business. Take care of business tonight against Arkansas, and it will not be in the hands of the committee. Because if you lose to Arkansas and Texas gets in over Oklahoma, there won't be an argument that Oklahoma got screwed. Like, you could be upset that Oklahoma got left out, but there won't be an argument that there's a miscarriage of justice, necessarily. That would be the case if you beat Arkansas today and still got left out in favor of Texas. So I'm always of the mindset, hey, take care of your business, take it out of the hands of the committee, and make your pitch against a team like Texas more ironclad. That way, if the committee does select Texas over you, you have a real argument for there was a miscarriage of justice. You see what I'm saying, Josh?
No doubt. And I would just say everybody that's right there on the bubble, Texas, of course, included, but, you go handle business tonight, and Oklahoma, you'd think, would leapfrog Texas and a couple of those other teams that are right there trying to get one of those final couple of bids.
Ryan from Jacksonville, again on the First Liberty Bank text line. Once his seat started getting real hot, the team came together and started winning. So that tells you how the team feels about Porter keeping his job. And I'll tell you what, Josh, those players, they have played harder. And I think they had a come-to-Jesus moment too. I don't have this sourced. I don't know. But maybe they had a come-to-Jesus moment and said, wait a minute. No, we're not doing right by our coach. And we like this dude, but we're not doing right by him. And now he's taking all the flack for it. We need to get our act together. And that goes back to the point of they respond to him so well and respond to the discourse around him so well that they said, nah, we got to play better. And they have shown up and have done their best to make sure Porter Moser is the Oklahoma Sooners head coach in 2026.
Yeah, 26-27.
Yeah.
They've definitely went and fought for Coach Moser and this staff. Right, so just the entirety of it, and it's been impressive this latter third of the season, the coaching job that Coach Moser and his staff have gotten accomplished. I don't know exactly which buttons specifically, Grayson, they were able to press down that resonated with this team. Obviously, getting Dayton Forsythe healthy was a helper, but they just are playing with more effort. They're better on the glass. They're hitting shots. Seems like they're crisper running their offensive set. So whatever they pushed to get that version of Oklahoma, bravo. They didn't quit on the coaches, and they're definitely playing great.
One more before we get a break. Bronze Star Sooner says, going to be a tough against the fresh legs of the Hogs. Sooners' legs will have played 3 games in 3 days. And that's my main concern for tonight, is that Arkansas is well-rested and Oklahoma is about to play the third game on a back-to-back-to-back. I think that you could start to see some fatigue. And now you've got Nigel Pack talking about he's banged up too after last night's game.
Took a headbutt.
Yeah, which was kind of nasty too. But having that combined with the fact that you've already played 2 games and you're playing against a team that is hyper-athletic and rested, that to me could be some cause for concern going into this game tonight, Josh.
Yeah, I think I'm not calling for the 20-some-odd point margin, though that'd be great, at halftime that you built last night, but probably it's against Arkansas in general, but given the fact you've already played a couple of games in 2 days and it'll be 3 games in 3 days, you really don't want to be trailing at halftime tonight against a fresh Arkansas team. And I think we saw that early last night, those first 5 minutes or so of the second half, that maybe some fatigue for a moment caught up to OU. So, yes, it could be a factor. Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, 405-651-3439 on the First Liberty Bank text line. Locked in, just getting started. He's Josh Helmer. I'm Grayson Singleton. Those of you on YouTube, hang tight. We're coming to you next segment. My computer is dead, so I got to go grab a charger so I can pull up the YouTube stream. Our show today brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC. Coming up next, why bullying works with the NCAA. We'll talk about it. It's Josh, it's Grayson, it's the ref.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
For 3 generations, the John M. Ireland & Son Funeral Home and Chapel in Morris continued to serve the community by giving back to local schools, charitable organizations, and first responders.
We provide pre-planning for funerals and cremation services at the most reasonable prices.
We are proud to be a family-owned and operated funeral home.
Award-winning funeral home year after year, our family believes in serving the people of our community.
I'm John Ireland.
And I'm Solon Daniels.
You've got our word on it.
They don't want to hire you because your paper might say Oklahoma School for the Blind.
I was just completely homebound because I was always too afraid to go outside. I want to be a productive member of society, and that's what DRS has given me.
They offer you opportunities to getting a job, helping you learn how to advocate for yourself, find the best way to try living your life in the fullest way possible.
Oklahoma and DRS has been the biggest blessing in my life.
See me.
And not my disability.
I really think we need to call a plumber.
No, we're close. I can feel it. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh.
Well, you did it this time. I'm calling Norman Air.
The AC guys?
Yeah, they do plumbing too.
Visit normanair.com for all your heating, air, plumbing, and electrical needs. Norman Air, service to the max. Hey, I think I fixed it. No, false alarm, didn't fix it.
Weigh in on the locked-in First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. First Liberty Bank. Bank like a champion today with First Liberty Bank at myfirstlibertybank.com.
Juicy, fruity, and oh so boozy. The Welch's you know and love is now available as spirit-based beverages. Ready to bring the nostalgia and fun times to adulthood, these cocktails are full of flavor. Head to your local liquor store or ask for Welch's Craft Cocktails by name.
Are you in need of purchasing your own health insurance? Are you turning 65 and confused about Medicare? Are you an employer looking at offering benefits to your staff? Call the agents at Allison Insurance. They'll sort through the confusion. They're not captive to just one company, and they'll get the best option for you. Don't get frustrated. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. Allison Insurance. They are the experts.
Want a chance to win big with your bracket this March? The Refs Bracket Challenge is back, and we are once again the home of winning big amidst the madness this March.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Just visit kref.com/bracket and click the link to join the Refs Bracket Challenge to see if you have what it takes to best our hosts and the rest of the Ref Army for a chance at March glory.
Do it! Just do it!
The Refs Bracket Challenge is brought to you by Louie's Grill and Bar. Louie's Grill and Bar is the perfect spot to watch your bracket look brilliant or get busted this March. Visit louisgrillandbar.com for a location near you. Make the right call. Join the Refs Bracket Challenge by March 19th before games tip off, and you'll have a chance to win big. Courtesy of Louie's Grill and Bar, the home of Sooner fans and the home for the best giveaways this March.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Getting together with friends and family is one of life's greatest joys. But with the rise in misleading rumors that have sparked some confusion and worry about vaccines, our treasured community immunity could be at risk. It's true. Together, we are all healthier when everyone is vaccinated. So let's get together and let's thrive together. Talk with your pediatrician today about keeping up or catching up on routine childhood immunization. This message is brought to you by the American Academy of Pediatrics.
(405-651-3439) on the First Liberty Bank text line. Big Joey asks, okay, Grayson, truth serum question. With your girlfriend out of town next week, what are you going to be doing? Well, the answer to that one is working. I'll actually be on, so Teddy will be out all next week. So the rush will consist of Tyler McComas and myself from 3 to 6 every day. So a lot of my day is going to be taken up by working. But honestly, Josh, have you seen this new show, Cross, on Amazon Prime?
I have not. Is it good?
It is really good. I'm a couple episodes in. It is really good. So I'm going to watch a lot of that in my evenings. I'm going to catch up on some missed workouts that I've had just because my high school schedule has been so damn busy the last 2 weeks that I've not been able to get to the gym like I've wanted to. But no, man, I'm gonna have a little bit more free evenings, so I'm gonna do that over the weekend. I don't know. The weekend's gonna be interesting, but hey, we'll make it through. We're gonna make it through. We're gonna take 10 milligrams of melatonin every night so I can pass out and not have to fight these demons, and we're gonna be all right.
Melatonin, that's the trick?
Well, as long as it puts me to sleep. That's gonna be the goal there. Grayson Singleton, Josh Helmer. This is Locked In on the Ref. The home of Sooner fans. Nah, we'll be all right. I'm cool with it. It's gonna be good. So the Big 12 is an example of why bullying works. Did you see this last night, Josh? This was announced by Pete Thamel late last night, maybe early this morning, that the Big 12 is going to get rid of that iPad court that they've been playing on for the semifinal and championship rounds of the Big 12 tournament up in Kansas City, and they're going to go back to hardwood. Did you see this?
I did, and I think they got the move right. You know, there was so much criticism. I hear you. They probably were bullied into it, I guess, a little bit. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, not every piece of innovation is a great piece of innovation. And I think we saw that in this instance.
Just because it can be done does not mean it should be done. And I will say, I'm kind of mad at myself that I was surprised they tried this. Because I feel like anybody, if you have a forward-thinking brain, could have figured out that somebody, maybe not the Big 12, but somebody was going to try this at some point. And I will say, I know we played the Taj Manning clip from Kansas State. We played that a couple of days ago. But just watching the commercials, because they still have the, I don't even know what to call it now. We'll just call it the iPad court for simplicity. They still have the iPad court as a part of their Big 12 tournament promos on ESPN, right? And it is an eyesore on just the commercials. Dude, it made watching those basketball games worse. Props to trying something new, but there were so many things that could go wrong. Like, obviously it would give somebody a headache who's playing on the court. A court should not be shape-shifting while you're playing on it. God forbid a 15-year-old hacked the iPad and decided to do something tawdry, and then all of a sudden we got that on the court. I mean, in a way, they kind of avoided a pretty catastrophic disaster, but this never was a good idea. And hey, bullying works. You tell people they're stupid enough, eventually they're probably going to change something.
And they certainly were told they were stupid quite a bit. Which, you know, Brett Yormark, he's done some really nice things for the Big 12 Conference, and in this instance, I think just struck out. And that happens.
It does. And you try something new. The Big 12, I will give Brett Yormark a lot of credit for this. The Big 12 has been innovative in a lot of ways over the last few years. They've been innovative in their marketing ways, which is excellent. Their Big 12 studios that they have based out there in Charlotte. I've got a friend of mine who we went to college. She works out there for the Big 12 studios. They do an excellent job of marketing the Big 12. They've been creative with who they partner with, doing the WWE type stuff. So there's a lot of credit to be given to the Big 12. This just was a catastrophic failure.
Agreed. And so they're going back to hardwood floors for the semis tonight and for the championship game. And I don't think we'll be getting the LED floor again anytime soon.
No, I do not believe so, especially with all the ways that people have been slipping on it too. 405-651-3439. Hey, I want to get to baseball tonight, Josh, because I know we've got a big baseball fan base here. We haven't talked a whole lot of baseball on these airwaves today, at least not in the time that I've been on. You're calling the game tonight. So I want to ask you, with all the stuff that's going good with OU baseball, we talk about the hitting. Obviously, the weekend pitching has been dynamite to start the year. With all the stuff that's going good, is there still a couple questions that you want answered from this team as we go into SEC play now?
Well, I think even the weekend rotation, you just want to see what does it look like now that you're going to see Texas A&M and other SEC squads. So A&M, the home opening SEC series tonight, 6:30 first pitch, 4 o'clock tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Sunday. And there's no let-up really after that, Grayson. You go to LSU, you go to Texas, you host Alabama at Vanderbilt, Missouri here maybe is kind of the series you look at and say, okay, you get to come up for air a little bit there, but they look like they're improved. You go to Auburn, so it's never ending in this league. Can Cam Johnson be that bona fide Friday night guy for you? It looks like he can be. He's got 32 strikeouts against the 5 walks, and when things have gotten a little bit topsy-turvy command-wise on him, it's not been the Cam Johnson in that situation that we saw a year ago. He's been able to just get right back, throw the next strike. So, but is that going to be the case in SEC play? I think that's a question. Defensively, would like to see Oklahoma tighten up a little bit in spots in that regard. Jason Walk, that was important for him. He got a couple of base knocks in Oklahoma's win over UT Arlington in the midweek, and they've been trying to get him going. So, questions, can Jason Walk, Kyle Branch, Dayton Taki, can they get those bats going? I think that would be a question that some have going into this thing. Is that going to happen for Oklahoma? You're optimistic that it will, but they got to get those guys going, Grayson.
Couple of recruiting questions here, and then I want to keep going with baseball. Outlaw Devil on the First Liberty Bank text line says, "Good day, Grayson. Do you have an opinion on where Cooper Witten should attend high school next year? What school would benefit him the most?" And while I appreciate the question, I'm not going to advise somebody else on what they should do with their family. Again, appreciate the question. It's a good question. Obviously, I'm the voice of Norman North High School. Would I love to call Cooper Witten's games his senior year of high school before he goes to OU? Yeah, selfishly I would, but I don't know their family. I've never met any of them. So I don't know what's going to work for Jason Witten and his family. So that's my answer to that question. Would I love him at Norman North? Absolutely. Absolutely. You bet your ass I would. I would love to call him, but not going to advise somebody else's family. That's just not the way I work. But, I appreciate the question. Also, Lucas on the YouTube chat, is it still a sure thing that Rowe doesn't pick Oklahoma tonight? Talking about 4-star defensive end from Denton Guyer High School down in the state of Texas, Zayn Row. It pretty much is next to a sure thing he doesn't pick Oklahoma. I do not expect him to pick Oklahoma, and I don't expect Oklahoma to continue pursuing him either if he does not pick the Sooners. So I think the Zayn Row saga and Oklahoma is pretty much over with, and guess what? They're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. They've got a couple of commitments in the 2027 class at defensive tackle. They've got potentially another one coming here soon. Or not soon, but they have potentially another one. They've got a lead with another defensive tackle as well. So I'm not of the opinion that they're going to continue to pursue Zayn Row, and quite frankly, they'll be all right without him. And so, Josh, going back to baseball for a second, what do you think about Texas A&M? As you've studied and gotten ready for them, what do they present to this Sooner team tonight?
Oh, I think they're good, man. I think it'll be obviously a big-time challenge all weekend for Oklahoma. This A&M team, you look at some of the numbers coming in, and everybody right now in the SEC, Grace, I mean, everybody looks good coming out of the non-conference, even though teams have tested themselves against some other power teams. But A&M is 15-1. And then you look at Oklahoma's in that trio, that bunch of teams, Mississippi State, Missouri, that are 15-2. So there's a lot of records that look like that in the SEC coming out of the non-conference. But A&M is one of them. So they look good at the plate. Texas A&M ranks top 10 in the country in batting average. They're 9th in that regard. On base percentage, they're 6th. Their slugging is 6th nationally. The pitching staff, it's number 11 in the country, 5th in the SEC, a 2.95 team ERA coming in. And so they're good. I mean, that's the expectation. This team was number 1 going into last season before things kind of unraveled for Texas A&M. And Skip Johnson this morning with Chris was quick to remind him that, hey, they didn't really lose anything off that group that was thought to be the nation's top team a season ago. They didn't lose a ton off of it. So they're good, and I think probably a lot of folks nationally, Grayson, are kind of waiting for this weekend and into SEC play to – we're not falling for that again with Texas A&M, though I think they're very good, and they obviously have something to prove this weekend versus OU.
Jim from Tuttle has a question for you. Do you think Mason Bixby will be the closer this season?
I don't know. That's a good question. He looked awfully good the other night, didn't he? Struck out the first 5 that he faced, retired all 6 that he faced. But Oklahoma, you look at career numbers in the SEC, Grayson, and, career saves, Jackson Cleveland, who his last 3 outings has picked up saves for OU, he's tied for the most saves of anybody in their career in the SEC right now with Bryce Callaway from Georgia, Ethan Harden, and Ryan Hetzler at Auburn. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of trending in the direction that Jackson Cleveland might, be that guy. Certainly he'll be a late inning option, but Bixby has some nasty stuff. So in whatever capacity that looks like, they can certainly, if they want to use him in the 7th, 8th, if they want to toss him into a closing role, he looks like, he would have closer stuff.
3-star UConn Bob says, Grayson, are you calling Norman North UConn baseball today? No, I'm not, and the reason being is because I will be at the Lloyd Noble Center producing one of the state tournament broadcasts. So I'm not calling games today. I do wish I was, but, I've got other assignments to do today, and, I look forward to seeing some excellent state basketball later on today. Couple more on the text line. Blue Sooner says, going back to our conversation, Josh, about OU basketball, Blue Sooner says they're fresher ever since Forsythe's return. And, and even though Dayton Forsythe has not shot the ball well since his return, he hasn't really shot it well the entire season, but he's done a good job of providing quality minutes off the bench while Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack can get a rest. And I do think that has been a big key to why they're still standing in terms of possibilities of making the NCAA tournament, is that Dayton Forsythe coming back, if nothing else, gives them not just another body, but some more energy as well. Because that dude, night in and night out, whether he's going to score or not, is going to give you a boatload of energy for the Sooners. And that'll not only help with the defensive end of the floor, but also give guys like Nigel Pack and Xavier Brown, who not just have a lot of usage with this team, but they move around the court a lot, running off screens and whatnot, give them a little bit of a blow.
We'll take a buttload, we'll take a boatload, whatever it may
be. I promise, man. I did not mean to. I was not trying to say that. Sometimes you're thinking of multiple words and they just merge themselves together and it doesn't really work quite right. You ever had that happen to you?
Oh yeah, no, those things those things just happen.
It does. It does happen a lot. 5-star Brian in Bixby says, if Miami of Ohio gets in over Oklahoma, that will be ridiculous. You concur with that?
If Miami of Ohio gets in over OU?
Yes.
Oh, I think Miami of Ohio over really just about anybody on the bubble is going to be a tough conversation right now. The, strength of their schedule so bad, and they don't have quad 1 and quad 2 victories. So
yeah.
I get it. It's just, the one loss for Miami of Ohio. I think you have to put them in, but it's not going to look good against anybody on the bubble. If it's Oklahoma, that's, if it's at the expense of Oklahoma, then sure, folks are going to be ticked off about it.
Here's my answer to that question, and then we'll get a break. I don't think the standard to get into a 68-team tournament for a mid-major should be perfection. And if you penalize Miami of Ohio, who won their first 31 games on their schedule, for losing one game in the conference tournament, I think it's a shot in the face as to how hard this thing is, right? To continue winning all those games and all those games in a row. So if you want to leave them out if they have 5 or 6 losses, all right. Now we're having a different conversation, and I would agree with you. But one loss after 31 in a row, nah, I'm not with that. I'm not going to be with that. I think 31-0 to start a season is more than good enough, whether you're in the Power 4 or whether you're a mid-major. So it looks like they're not going to be an 8 seed and above. They'll be a 9 or a 10, which I think is appropriate. But no, I think they should get in regardless of what happens to Oklahoma, because winning your first 31 games, that's good enough for me. And our standard for entry into a 68-team tournament should not be perfection.
Agreed. And I think it'd be shocking if they were left out. It would not set a great precedent either, that you could win your first 31 games and be ranked in all of the polls throughout the season, lose one game, and then you don't get to go to the dance. So it stinks for the bubble because that's obviously a bid by the wayside.
Yeah, no, I agree. 405-651-3439 on the First Liberty Bank text line and on YouTube as well. KREF Sports on YouTube. You'll find Josh and myself. Coming up next, one more segment to go. Reformed Homer on the First Liberty Bank text line has an interesting question for us. Josh, let me pose this to you. You want to see what players are making in terms of their NIL deals? We'll talk about that to close up the show next. It's Locked In.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is The Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Our showroom is home to classic favorites like diamond earrings and pearl strands, plus cool watches from Michelle and Shinola, and cases full of the latest trends. We are known for our engagement rings and love giving our customers every option, straight from our cases or in their very own custom design, with natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, or colored gemstones. Shop with us in-store or shop our website or Instagram. Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street.
Hey everybody, Mike Steely here, your favorite regional radio star, inviting you to join us every day, noon to 2 here on The Ref with Parker Thune and myself. We'll be talking all things Sooner football, of course. I'll talk about the attention-seeking clowns as well. There's also no better way to take us with you everywhere than by downloading the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat on your Apple or Android device. We're talking about a great app here, folks. It's so easy, even this old man can do it. That's the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics.
Looking for your next place to call home? Keystone Property Management in Oklahoma City has beautiful 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhomes at Edmond Town Center, located at the corner of Kelly and Danforth in the heart of Edmond. Plus, we offer spacious single-family homes throughout Oklahoma City and Edmond with options that fit your size, style, and budget. Find the perfect home for your family. Call Drew England at 405-368-1836 or visit us online at KeystonePMOK.com. Keystone Property Management, your key to better living. You might know that State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has great service. Cindy is your good neighbor after all. But did you know that State Farm has surprisingly great rates too? Yep, that's right. Along with good neighbor service, State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has surprisingly great rates for everyone in Norman. So call State Farm agent Cindy Nasher at 405-307-0500 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements. At Landers CDJR of Norman, it's the declaration of deals. Pick any new 2026 Ram Light Duty Crew Cab Bighorn or Laramie with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, or any new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Gladiator or Grand Cherokee in stock, and we're giving you big dealer discounts and 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days. Shop LandersCDJRNorman.com for straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. 0% financing must finance with Stellantis Financial for well-qualified buyers.
OU Baseball hosts Texas A&M March 13th through 15th for SEC opening weekend at Kimry Family Stadium. Join us for Military Appreciation Weekend and the 3-game series between the Sooners and Aggies. Enjoy happy hour beer pricing before first pitch of the series opener on Friday. Then save big on the series finale with a Sooner Sunday 4-pack of 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, and a popcorn. Tickets are selling fast for the Sooners opening weekend of SEC play. Visit Soonersports.com to view the complete schedule and to secure your seats today.
When it comes to buying a home, you need a winning game plan. At Stride Bank, our mortgage team helps you get from kickoff to closing with competitive rates, local expertise, and personalized service. Whether it's your first home or your forever home, we'll be right there on the field with you. Learn more at stridebank.com. Stride Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Stride Bank, on your team since 1913 with Oklahoma roots and nationwide reach. Grayson Singleton along with Josh Helmer. It's The Ref, the home of Sooner fans, and this is Locked In coming up at 3 o'clock. Tyler McComas and Rodney Anderson for The Rush 3 to 6 as Teddy Lehman begins his vacation. So they'll take you all the way up till 6 o'clock coming up here in about 15 minutes. But Josh, as you were out there at Kimry Family Stadium, we got this text from Reformed Homer during the 12 o'clock hour, and I wanted to stash it for this hour since Steely and I didn't get to it. And Reform Homer asks, mini manifesto, with no documented proof of NIL payments, how does anyone know the actual dollar amounts thrown around? Jock Sniffer alumni and Homer boosters have to brag and get recognition, yet you never see them. And athletes in this look at me generation, why do you never see them on social media holding up checks? I'm waiting for a reply from the ref on air. Now, I'm hoping I read the tone of that correctly, but basically I think what Reformed Homer is getting at is that why aren't the deals for athletes publicized? Now, let me ask you this, Josh, before I weigh in on this. Would you like, or would it even be productive to see what the athletes are actually making and for that to be public information?
Well, do you want to remove the final barrier that keeps this from being professional sports? Because that's kind of one of the final ingredients is once you know what everybody's contract situation looks like, then you've got yourself some, professional sports. So there's a part of me, yes, that would like to know, hey, how much, just the secrecy of it. We're told that Oklahoma basketball, for instance, is way toward the bottom of the SEC in NIL spending, but nobody really knows the exact dollar amount. We're told that Oklahoma football is competitive, and but nobody really knows the exact budget or amount. So, yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting to know. Do I have to know? I guess not. But the one thing, if you know dollars and cents for a player, it's going to naturally make it to where there's more scrutiny when guys, not just a Jaden Ott situation, but when guys don't play well, Grayson.
And the genesis of that text was the Jaden Ott discussion. Now, I have always, because I view this whole thing of college athletics and the relationships between the schools or the conferences or the NCAA, the relationships between there and the players, to me, in the last 5 years has been employer to employee. That's the way I look at it, and that's basically what it is, minus a couple of legal loopholes that the NCAA is desperately trying to avoid, right? So when I look at it from that perspective, and I look at how we have these vague arguments and vague conversations surrounding, well, there's no resources here. Well, there's no, they really have an influx of resources here. Or this school is paying more, this school is paying more, or this player should be performing more because they're getting paid. Well, put a number to it.
Yeah.
And the thing is we can't because none of us actually know. So here would be my solution to this. I would want to know, what are you getting from the collective and or the school? Your NIL deals, your what they were supposed to be NIL deals, your endorsements, I don't care to know those. That is you being a cool person and an athlete on the side of that. I don't care to know your NIL deals. If you have a deal with Raising Cane's, I don't care how much you're getting paid. I don't want to know. But what are you taking from the collective? What percentage of the school's budget in terms of football payment are you taking up? I want to know. I want to know. Because I want to have the discussions of, okay, this is how this front office prioritizes this position. Or this is how this coach said, hey, we need to get better at this, so let's prioritize and put our spending and allocate our dollars to make sure that we shore up this weakness. I think it's more productive for player relations with the fans. Well, for some people. I think there will be some that will harbor a bit of jealousy. I think it's more productive for our conversations on these airwaves. And I honestly think it gives us a better insight into how these people are feeling about their teams. I think there is a huge upside to a lot. There is some downside, but I think there's a huge upside to a lot if we actually know what these guys are making. Now, obviously the big hurdles of that is collective bargaining. You're going to need a CBA before that ever becomes publicized. I'm aware of that. But to answer that texter's question, I want to see what they're making. I want to know what everybody makes, not because I want to be jealous of them, because that's not the way I operate. Pocket watching is not my thing. But I want to know what you're making. I want to know what you got acquired for, just like we do in the NFL and the NBA. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a blockbuster deal. I absolutely do. I think it would be great.
And to know what a market looks like for a star wide receiver, truly what it looks like
that too.
In college or, an edge rusher, whatever it may be, quarterbacks, to have a better idea of what the market honestly is. And maybe I think at one point it was sort of floated around, right, that schools would get access to a database that would give them a picture of what market value looked like at various positions. So even if it was just that, even if it wasn't, hey, this is what this player makes and it's public knowledge, but you had an idea that, okay, the top 5 quarterbacks make this average amount of money, or Oklahoma, in addition to its revenue share, is spending this on football. So maybe not to where you just know a name-by-name basis, but you know what the school's got, you know what the program's got, and you know generally what that position for a star player, what the going rate is.
And here is the appropriate text from Sean on the First Liberty Bank text line. Revenue share comes from the school, which is a public entity, so that should be public information. Exactly. That should be. However, I think the reason it's not is because the players are not considered employees of the school, which is why the barrier to what we're talking about here, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, by the way, Sean. That's where that opinion comes from. But the barrier to that actually being enacted is the fact that the players are not still legally considered employees. I think if they one day become employees of the school, then yeah, just based on public record laws, you would have to publicize that, just how I can look online and find out what Brent Venable's salary is to some degree. So we're still in a world, Josh, where we're still trying to pretend that the players are not employees when we know damn well that they are.
Certainly in football, there's, no question that it's, if you say they're not employees, okay, but it's pay for play in big-time college football and big-time college basketball too. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. It would eliminate some of the shroud of mystery we have when, especially, we talk about Oklahoma men's basketball, for instance.
Yes.
You're trying to, understand, okay, what is Porter Moser working with as compared to the rest of the league?
Hey, I got this one question for you before we go. So this was making the rounds on Twitter, Josh. Which group of postseasons are you choosing, okay? So here is Group A.
This was brutal. I hated this, but yes, go ahead.
Did you see this? Okay. So which group are you choosing? So Group A is the Masters, Major League Baseball postseason, college football playoff, and the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's Group A. Group B is the NFL playoffs, March Madness, the NBA playoffs, and the FIFA World Cup. Which one are you taking?
Group A, but it's tough, and I hate to have to not get to watch the Super Bowl and what else was in Group B? NBA playoffs.
NBA playoffs, NCAA tournament, and the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, March Madness. Man, March Madness, that opening weekend might be my favorite of any sporting event. So, but I don't know, man. Major League Baseball playoffs are awesome. The NHL playoffs are terrific. I'm not giving up college football. I can't do that, so that's probably Group A.
Man, and see, that's the thing. I can't give up my basketball, man. So I got to go Group B. And plus, you're telling me I can't watch the Super Bowl for the rest of my life? Oh, no. I'm gonna be watching the Super Bowl, so I gotta go. The one that I would miss the most, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you, Josh, is the Major League Baseball playoffs. That's the one I would miss the most from Group A.
So good.
Yeah,
so much hanging on every pitch. It's just the best.
Yeah, I would miss that, but man, I can't do no NFL playoffs, and I cannot do without the NCAA tournament or the NBA playoffs as well, and the NBA finals as a basketball fan. Well, Josh, have a great call tonight.
Thanks,
Oklahoma at Texas versus Texas A&M. So make sure you tap in on the Sooner Radio Network to hear Josh call that game. Appreciate you guys all for hanging out with us. Parker Thune's going to be back on Monday. I'm off to the Lloyd Noble Center to go watch some high school basketball in the 5A semifinals. For Josh Helmer, big thanks to Hattie for producing our YouTube stream as well, and all of you, the Ref Army. The Rush is coming up next. I'm Grayson Singleton. We'll talk to you on Monday. Take it easy, everybody.
Football. You love it. We love it.